Okay, in this video we're going to be working with inserting shapes and resizing shapes and text boxes. So I'm going to go over to Insert here. I'm on slide 6 and Insert in the Illustrations group under Shapes. I'm going to grab a smiley face because who doesn't want a smiley face in their life? I'm going to click on the smiley face and you see that I get this little plus sign here and it's telling me to click somewhere to the right of the text within the slide. So here's the slide. So I'm just going to click right here to place it. And you'll see in the greater steps it gives you some direction as to where to place it. And I'm going to go over that in a minute. But for now, we're just going to learn that once you insert a shape, you have that Format tab. And notice that in the Shape Styles group, just be careful because there's the Shape Styles, Word Art Styles. You want to make sure that if you're dealing with a shape that you're at the Shape Styles group. I'm going to click on the More button here, and I'm going to select the second style here in the third row. So light 1, outline, color filled, red, accent 1. Again, keeping in mind that you always want to make sure you're matching exactly whatever grader tells you. We know that we can resize things same way that we could all other images, right? So we can set the height and the width. I'm going to set to 2.25. Okay. And so we just basically very easily brought in the image and placed it there, okay? And just keep in mind that you can do all sorts of formatting to that. All right, so now we're going to do something a little bit more. I'm going to go to slide 2. And I want to insert a shape, another shape here. So I'm going to click on the Shapes drop-down arrow. And this time I want a horizontal scroll, which is located underneath the stars and banner area. So I'm going to click on it, and then again I get that plus sign. I'm just going to pull open a scroll here. We're going to move it later, so it doesn't really matter where I place it. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to take the text that's up here, and we're going to place it in this scroll box. Okay. So in order for us to do that, we need to select the text that's listed here. And I want to remove it, so I'm going to do our good old cut. And then I'm going to click where I want it to go, but what I want it to do is go inside this, this text, the scroll. So in order to do that, I have to right-click on the scroll and pick this Edit Text, because that will allow me then to put my cursor inside that image, right? So now I've clicked where I want that text to go, and just like we always do, I'm just going to click Paste. And that's going to paste it. And you can see it's overflowing, right? So we need to adjust our height and width here so that it fits. So I'm going to go over to my height, and I'm going to set that to be 3, and I'm going to set my width to be 7. Okay, so I can see that now it's sort of fitting, but we still need to do a little bit here. I want to drag this shape up, okay? And I kind of want it to be centered. I'm going to use those guidelines there for now. So that it's centered between these two images here. But in addition to that, watch what you can do. So on the Format tab, you see here that you have a line, okay? And I know in Grader that it's going to ask you to pick Aligned to Slide, so you want to be mindful of that. If it tells you to do that, you want to do that first, okay? But then what you can do is you can align left, center, right. You can align top, middle, bottom. And you could, if you have multiple images, you can distribute them horizontally or vertically, which we'll talk about. So for ours here, we want to do Align Center. And you'll see how it just sort of shifted it over so that it was center aligned. Okay. We want to change the font size of this text box. And so I'm going to make sure that it's selected. And then change it to be 20, so that sort of fits in there a little bit better. Okay. So I want to select the text that's in my scroll box. Okay, and I'm going to go over to the Format tab in the Word Art Styles group this time. I'm going to click on the More button. I want to change the look of the text in that box. So I'm going to pick this one here, the Fill White Outline. Okay, and I decide, well, I want to change the fill color of that. So I'm going to go to Text Fill, and I decide I want to change it to be sort of maybe yellow. Okay. And so now if I click off of it, I can see that basically, so I've inserted the scroll, I took the text from here, I pasted it into there, and then I changed it to be Word Art, and I changed the fill color of it, okay. You see there's a spell check here, which is driving me crazy, but that's something that it'll probably have us fix later, but I need to fix it now. remember for grader, don't do things until they tell you to do it, but that was driving me a little crazy. All right, so we're going to go up to slide 1. All right, now, so this is something that you really do need to know how to do. If you notice here, you have a ruler at the top and the left-hand side, okay? And if you don't see a ruler, then you want to go to the View tab and make sure that ruler is checked, because see how you can check it on and off, right? So notice on the ruler that this is what we call the horizontal ruler, so just like your horizon, right, going left to right. And this one over here is called your vertical ruler, going up and down, okay? So you notice that 0 is sort of what I would call the center of the slide, left to right, and 0 here on the vertical ruler is the center going up and down. So the way that the book and grader are going to give you directions is to tell you things like, hey, position the pointer to the left of 0, or 2 inches to the left of 0 on the horizontal ruler. So what that means is, see, the 2 is to the left of 0 on the horizontal ruler. So if they said 2 to the right of 0 on the horizontal ruler, we would be over here, okay? Now, we're also going to be in the slide, so it's going to be giving you directions of vertical as well, so that you're basically, it's determining where your mouse pointer is going to be placed. So, for example, in this one, we're going to position the pointer on the slide aligned at 2 to the left of 0 on the horizontal ruler. So you'll notice here, here's 2 to the left of 0 on the horizontal ruler, okay? And then 1 below 0 on the vertical ruler. So 1 below 0 on the vertical ruler is here. I need to find the intersecting point between those two. Okay, so let's apply this knowledge of where things are on the ruler by inserting a text box. So I'm going to go up to Insert, and I'm going to go to Text Box. And where I want to place this is 2 to the left of 0 and 1 below 0 on the vertical ruler. So 2 to the left of 0 on the horizontal ruler and 1 below 0 on the vertical ruler. And it is very picky, so I want to make sure I'm quite exact. And then I'm going to pull open a text box here. Okay, so my upper left corner is at 2 to the left of 0 and 1 to the 1 below 0. And so I'm going to type here, check our improvements. Now, I'm going to click off. Okay, so one thing I want to point out to you is that when you go to do this for grader, if grader doesn't give you the points that's needed, and you have it in the right place, I will give you the points. But grader, I want you to do 2 submissions on it, because grader will tell you exactly using different coordinates of where things should be. So watch, I'm going to go to the Format tab here, and I want you to click on the Size dialog box launcher. Okay, and if you go to Position, you'll see that it tells you your horizontal position from top left corner. So I may add it as a hint, but this is where you want to go. So if you're not, just to make sure that you're in exactly the right place, because sometimes going like so to the left or down below 0 on the horizontal and vertical ruler can be kind of confusing. And it's hard with your mouse to determine that you're in the right place. So what you want to do is click on that Size dialog box launcher, and then go to find your position, and your horizontal and your vertical position can be set here as well, and it will give you the coordinates of like top left corner, and then you set whatever that figure is. So and once you do that, then grader's going to give you the full credit for it, so you won't even need me to fix it. So just make sure that you're paying attention to that as well. Some of this is kind of silly because, to be honest, in the real world, you're just going to put it on the slide wherever you want it to be. So why does it matter that you are, 2 to the left of 0 and 1 below 0? The only time something like that would matter is if you needed to get it in a particular spot to fit on something that's preset on a printed page, right? Like if you wanted it in a box and you took out a ruler and measured it on your page and you needed it to fit. That's the only time that something like this would matter. Otherwise, you're going to put it where it looks right. Okay, so that concludes skills 4 and 5.